Hear ye, all those who have gathered here for the noble and glorious purpose of witnessing this unveiling. I am a hot mess. I'm nervous and excited, and just accept me. Okay, ready? Da 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 da. Ba-bam. I call this the Fuscina. It's a Latin word that means pitchfork. And so a brief explanation. The first thing I want to do is draw your attention to my incessant need that this symbol have baphomet in its DNA. So I guess the first way to look at it would be as a wire frame or this child's stick figure drawing of baphomet, right? So we have the horns, and we have the torch, and we have the caduceus, the rod with the serpents, at the midsection. And then you could look at these as maybe the tops of the knees of the crossed legs, as Baphomet seated on the world. But also, if you look at the curvature, these are in alignment with the Baphomet's gesture, the arms, one going up and one going down. So, and then this is where it gets fun for me. This was the hard part. This was those puzzle pieces I was trying to put together. This S with a line through it is an alchemy symbol for solve. And these three lines coming together is an alchemy symbol for coagulate. So, wireframe of Baphomet with solve and coagulate. I was pretty proud of that. So the next thing I want to bring your attention to is that, so somebody once asked me, what's that on your arm? Like, hey, what do you think it is? Like, what does it look like to you? And he was all, honestly, it kind of looks like a pitchfork with some filigree. And I was like, you're not wrong. And I'm stealing that phrasing. So, and I've used it ever since. So if we just focus on the pitchfork, I was working on this at a time and place where outside of my satanic group, I was involved in an institution that was promoting the awareness of the classic system of education, which is composed of the 7 liberal arts and sciences. And that is bifurcated, that's broken into the trivium, which is the first 3, and the quadrivium, which is the other 4. And the order was you had to master the trivium before you were even qualified to look at the quadrivium, because these were the essential building blocks upon which you studied these. So, and that's kind of the symbolism that I assigned to this. So this pitchfork, which is Satan's weapon, right? And so I assigned the trivium. So grammar, logic, and rhetoric. And then coming into T&T and seeing how grammar, logic, and rhetoric, that's their weapon in their campaigns. They weaponize that in their legal battles. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. Remember how I talked about how they manifested into alignment with my beliefs and practices and my worldview. And so, because I was very much like, I was an activist back then in, I was a pagan prison chaplain. So it was about religious pluralism. And, the state of California only hired chaplains for specific religions like Protestant, Muslim, Jewish, Catholic, and Native American. And so if you're not one of those 5, you don't get hired. So I was a volunteer for like 8 years. But the whole idea was like everybody or nobody, right? And so this very much came into play in my social activism in advocating for the religious rights of incarcerated people. So that's Satan's pitchfork, right? Logic, reason, rhetoric, science. And so, but then we get into the other 4, and those are the actual other 4 sciences. And so I just kind of assigned meanings at the points, right? So this would be arithmetic, music, geometry, and astronomy. Now here's the really fun thing that I learned back in the day. Arithmetic is just math, but music is math in time. Geometry is math in space. And astronomy is math in time and space. Like, that was just cool as shit to me. And it still kind of gets me, and you have to it's a really fun thought experiment. But point of the story is that this this other layer of symbolism has to do with science over superstition. I mentioned I mentioned previously how I was like, I'm all about astronomy over astrology. That played a role in the creation of this symbol. And that mentality, that view of the world, and non-theistic, non-supernatural. So, and then after joining TST, I was like, you know what else? This could be the seven tenets. And so yeah, it's just been this amazing journey.